Go ahead and bend your knees a little bit. You're gonna sit in the cradle of your nice little spine corrector. Mine is a knockoff from Alibaba, but you can find them from Balance Body if you wanna pay like $250 for it. I think it's $100 for the knockoff. The foam is effectively the same. So it's put together, you're sitting in the cradle, feet are planted. Bring them a tiny bit closer to you, Jen. Cool. And then I just want you to take your hands onto your knees and start to tip yourself back from your pelvis. So you have to, yeah, and then come back up. That's okay. So think even more rotation from the pelvis. You kind of want to push your pubic bone forward, and then you kind of feel this pulling back. Yep. And then back up. Does that feel okay? Take 2 more. Try to really incrementally put down your spine. So could you get this against the back? So you push your pubic bone forward. Yeah, there you go. Now roll all the way back. Yeah, you tip through the pelvis, and then you're just gonna let your shoulders come back a little, and then you're gonna let your head come back a little, and then I'm gonna catch you with this nice little block. Does that feel okay? Ponytail holder aside?
Yeah.
Okay. Take a moment and just open your arms out to the side, kind of like a T, palms towards the ceiling. Take your hands up towards the ceiling, so they're right in line with your shoulders. Good. Could you just shrug your shoulders towards your ears and away from your ears a couple times? Just gently, you're just getting that little feel of them sliding up and down. 2. And 1. Good. Could you shrug your shoulders like you were trying to push your hands towards the ceiling, so your shoulder blade kind of slides away and back down. Think slow on the way back down. Yeah, you're just moving it with musculature. 3, we're going for 5, and 4, and 5. And then you're gonna open those arms back out to the side just a little and back up.
Oh, just a little.
Just a little. It's okay. So think about your shoulder blades moving towards your spine as the hands open and away. And we're just kind of ignoring splaying of the ribs for the moment. We're just finding some nice extension. Hands come back towards each other. Now I want you to take a full inhale. Exhale, roll yourself all the way back up to seated. So your head comes up, you're using that core, you set yourself all the way back up. Beautiful. Let's do an inch of fire. So you're gonna bring your hands out in front of you. Beautiful. And then I want you to keep these feet really firmly planted about as far apart as the actual hip joint. Good. So I'm just gonna hang on to your feet, tip yourself back from the pelvis. Let your arms come back with you as you roll down. And let your arms come back and your head come back. And then come back up. Exhaling to come up. You got to use those core muscles. Good. Think about pulling your shoulder blades onto your back. If it helps you to go into like a I Dream of Jeannie, or even kind of like you have heartburn, okay, so think about relaxing your elbows down, and you're almost thinking about your armpits and this bottom of the shoulder blade. So you start to tip from your pelvis, and then you roll yourself back. Let your head come with you. Beautiful. I think that's better. Let's try 2 more just like that. Big inhale, exhale to roll all the way up, and then back down. Really thinking about articulating your spine, so it's 1 vertebra at a time. Take your chin back a little. I know it's the hardest part is to let your head come back, but it feels like a nice extension, I'm hoping, through the upper back. And back up. Last one, roll yourself down. Take your hands back and just big reach for a second. Big inhale. Exhale, hands come up, head comes up, rolling yourself all the way up. Beautiful. Hang out for just a second. Okay, so now I want you to turn so that you're faced this way. Your outside leg is going to come long, and this leg kind of goes almost like a mermaid style kind of around it. So now you have all of this to lay down on. So I want you to start out. Is this okay on your ankles as it is? Bring your arms into a wide T. So take your left hand down onto, and you're gonna turn your other palm so it'll face towards your head. I just want you to use that left arm, slide down, and take a big side bend up and over. And back in and up. Can you get your side body down onto that as you lay down maybe? Yeah, so you feel supported through the ribs. There you go. And then back up. So hand comes up, you're pushing down through that bottom arm, sitting back up. Good. Pull your rib in just a tiny bit, and we're going to shift those hips so they're really square. Beautiful. Last one. You just slide yourself down, and you take that big side bend. And then you come all the way back up. Could you just pick up your left hand, turn the palm towards your head. Other hand's going to come down. And just take a big side bend opposite way. Try to relax this shoulder a little. Ah, delightful. Okay. Now I want you to take your hands, and you're going to push your head back into your hands just a little bit. Good. Feel that rib start to connect. Now, I've got your foot, so you're obviously not going to go anywhere. Can you try to start sliding yourself down onto, maybe the elbow comes to touch, and come back up. Shoo! Okay.
Okay.
Let's try again. So we're laying it down and coming back up. One more. A lot harder than it seems like it should be. And back up. Beautiful. Now, I want you to twist your body so your chest is toward, and you're going to put both hands on top. Can you just slide down and get kind of a nice twisty stretch? Doesn't matter where your hip goes. And then start to slide your hands back up so you're finding almost like a swan-like stretch. So you get a little extension in that upper back. Beautiful. Two more just like that. You're rolling down. And we're trying to keep our hips stacked-ish. Good. And back up. Finding that nice little extension. Beautiful. So it kind of drops out of there and into that upper back. Nice. Last one. Laying it down. And coming back up. Beautiful. We got to turn around and do the other side. All right, so a leg goes out long. And let's start out, you're upright, and you've got the T arms. Good, so left palm turns towards your head. Other hand is going to come down on top of the arc. So you slide down, trying to lay your body down onto it, and then take that big side bend. Beautiful. Let's roll this hip forward just a little. Good, so you're going to come back up. Hand comes up, bottom hand pushes down. Two more just like this. Laying it down, up and over, coming up. Nice. You can feel there's so much side body to this, and we're really just working to try and find a lot of connection into the back of the shoulder, upper back, versus leading with that neck. Good. Pick up that right hand. Left hand comes down, and you're just going opposite with that nice big stretch. So try to relax that shoulder, and then you get a big side bend on the other side. Good. Now let's take those hands to your head. And you're pushing your head back into your hands. What if your hands come up a little higher on your head? Yeah. So push your head back into your hands a little. Good. And we're going to start. So let's twist a tiny bit. And I want you to start to lay the side of your body down onto the arc. It's all good. Yep, yep, yep. And then come back up. We're just going for 3. And 2. And last one. Perfect. So both hands are going to come onto your, and you're laying it down, trying to get some twist in your spine. And then as you push down with those hands, you're going to come back up, find a little extension. Yeah, same thing. So you're sliding down, getting some twist in that spine. Beautiful. And then you're coming up kind of like a swan. So think about pull here. Nice. And back down. Last one. You're coming up. Finding that swan. Nice, and then you're gonna untwist yourself, and now you get to face the center. Beautiful. Okay, let's go for, all right, with your hands on your chest, we're gonna do this inch of fire. So you can have your hands on your heart, they can come out long, genie arms. So I want you to tilt your pelvis back, and it kind of feels like the back of your pants comes up against that. You feel a lot of connection underneath your rib cage. Come up an inch, and down an inch. 10. 9, keep breathing. 8, come up a little bit higher. Yes, you want to find that connection right there. Yep. 6, 5, 4. There's that little shake. That's a good thing. 2, and 1. Come all the way up. Beautiful. Roll yourself all the way down for a moment. You could even let your legs go long if you want and get a really big stretch. Now, if you push your legs back into this, you might find a little extension of the hip if you squeeze your glutes. So you just kind of extend your hips a little bit. Does that feel okay? Beautiful. And then let yourself sink back. And then start to draw yourself back up to seated. Yep, big inhale. Exhale, roll up. You can even pull your knees in as you start to roll up. Oh, that's kind of fun. You might have to take your socks off to get the slide.
Oh, yeah.
Just for this. And then we'll let you put them back on. It's nice to have the grip sometimes. So that's the deal. We're going to take your hands out long in front of you. Your feet are about as far apart as your hip joints. You're slaying yourself back. So you tip, you pull the ribs back. The legs will start to go out. The arms will start to go back. Maybe you find that full extension. So you even squeeze your glutes and you get that big extension. And then you bring yourself back into the crease. Arms start to come up, legs start to come in as you sit all the way up. Beautiful. Can you kind of feel that nice connection between rib and hip? So we have 3 more just like that. Tip and back. Hold on, come back up. Remember, the tip starts from the hips, so the shoulders come second. There, yeah, you feel that. And then as you come back, the legs start to move, the arms start to move. You get your big extension. You sink back down, bring the arms up. Use your exhale, help you find that rib to hip connection as you're rounding up and pulling those legs in. Nice. Last one, shoulders connect onto your back. Keep them there as you go back. Start to stretch your legs out. Once you got that kind of bra line down, you're finding more extension. Biggest extension you feel like having here, and then bring it back down into the seat. Legs start to bend, hands come up, and you're going to sit yourself all the way back up. Beautiful. Now we're going to do something small again. So hands can come back onto your heart or your shoulders, however you like it. Relax your neck a little bit. And I want you to bring your feet a hair closer together. Start to tip yourself back from your pelvis. So it's that roundness. So your booty almost has to slide a little bit. Do you feel that? Great. Now pause right here. Think about releasing that. Good. Could you pick one leg up into tabletop, please? From the hip. And back down. Okay. 2. Same thing. We're going for 5. 3. If you want to go for 10, you can, but we still have to do the other side. And then come all the way back up after that 5th one. We have to do the other leg. Okay. So you start to roll yourself back. You find that connection around the rib. If it helps you, you can also put your hands behind your head instead. Okay, and then other leg, 5 times. Coming up into tabletop. Remember, it's a hip movement, not a knee movement. Might not be the biggest lift, but it's still so much work. Good. You get your last one. Foot goes down, you sit up. Oh, goodness.
Okay, that one burnt.
Yeah, it did. All right, last one of those. Oh boy. Of course there's more. We're going to alternate which leg lifts and lowers.
Okay.
So first you tip yourself back into that position. Let your shoulder blades connect onto your back. Chin comes up a little. Good. And then we start. One leg comes up into tabletop. It goes down. The other leg does the same thing. There's 1. We're doing 5 on each side. 2. You're still breathing. I love this for you. You can make that face if you want to. It's okay. You're pulling those armpits down and you breathe. Hip motion. Get your last ones. And then you're going to come all the way up after the last one. Good. Just lean yourself forward, straighten your legs out if you'd like. And just round a little bit forward. Does that feel okay on your spine? Just let your head hang a little after that.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Start to bring yourself back up to seated, and we're going to move where we are on the spine corrector. So bring yourself out of that nice little crevasse. We're going to scoot this down a bit. As you can see, I have little grippies underneath this because I hate when this sucker slides, especially on vinyl material. So, be safe, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I want you to come lay on your back with your feet towards this. Yes, and then I want you to start to scoot yourself closer. You're gonna walk your feet up on top, and then you're gonna get your butt up on there. A little bit more, a little bit more. Keep going. Are you kidding me? Now, keep going, one more little scooch. So these hands are gonna come and grab on here. Can you get your shoulder blades any closer? So can we scoot a little bit? So bend your knees a little bit, bring your feet up here. There we go. So use this to pick up your hips a tiny bit and scoot towards me. There you go. So you kind of, all the weight goes into your shoulder blades. Do you remember how many times I've reminded you of this? Okay, now I'd like you to keep your hands on both sides. You can also reach your hands further if you want to, but up to you. You want to be able to just keep this connected. Now, because you're pulling on this, can you find that armpit connection so it's not so much about your neck? Yeah, that. You feel it kind of in the back of your shoulders. Good. Let's pick those legs up into tabletop. Beautiful. So here we go. Can you find a slightly neutral pelvis here? So you're going to need to tip your pubic bone forward a tiny bit. Good, just so that you have that low core connection. Beautiful. Let's take your legs long to the ceiling. Beautiful. Could you start out by squeezing them together and lowering them towards me a little bit? And come back up. Good. 5 of these. Good. What if you lowered even further? Good. 4 and 5. Good. Now we're going to alternate one foot towards my hand. So reach one leg long to the ceiling. Good. And then switch. 3. Good. Think about those square hips as you alternate. Beautiful. Bend your knees in towards your chest for just a sec. Could the feet pass each other in space for a scissor? So one leg goes towards you and one leg away from you. Find your square hips. So you're kind of, yes, now keep the square hips and switch the legs. If you need to put a little bend in the knee, because I know you sometimes feel hyperextendy, you can. Good. You're still breathing and controlling from the core. You're trying to find some of the extension through this hip, maybe. Good. Feeling all right? Getting the 5 each way. Beautiful. That's okay, you're done.
Okay.
Bend those knees in for a second. Take a quick rest anytime you need to when you're doing this arc work, because it is a lot of, well, upper back work, core work. Okay, so your legs come up into tabletop. I'd like you to start riding a bicycle forward. We're going to count to 10 and 9. Think a little bit more energy. Big bicycle. Yes. You're really moving those pedals, my friend. 2. Keep that square hip if you can. Yeah, it's the reach. And then we're going to go backwards for a count of 10. So bicycling backwards, trying to reach that leg long and get some lift. Nice. Gentle with your hips. Good. Okay, we're getting there. And the speed can change because the amount of work remains about the same. Think about that rib connection just a little. Good. And then bring both of your knees in. Lovely. Take both legs up to the ceiling. Bring your heels together, toes apart, and start to extend the legs away from you a little bit. Could you bend like frog here? How much more could you control the hips and bring the knees in and then press out and away? Good. We're going for 5. You're trying to keep your long core sensation. It's almost reminiscent of that long core feeling before you get round in your short spine from the reformer. And then you take those legs out long and you'll go into your circles so the feet will be parallel. So it's just like feet in straps. They don't have to be huge. Maybe they're smaller because it's really hard to get your legs down, as you've noticed. Good. You're doing a great job. The weight is in the back of your shoulders. You're continuing to think about that armpit, that lower shoulder blade wrap. And then you'll switch directions. Nice. And then you bend your knees in. And here's where you have some options. You can scoot yourself back, or you can just roll yourself up a little bit, like bring your bum over your shoulders and then just slide this sucker out from underneath you. So you have to release your hands, my friend, and bring your knees in towards you. Bring your bottom up. Yep, there we go. And then roll yourself down. Ta-da! Okay, sorry, that took way more words than it should have. So let's play around with some swan using this nice thing. So you're gonna come lay with your stomach on top here and your hands down here. And you wanna kind of be in the center.
Okay.
Scoot yourself forward a little bit so you want your hips kind of on top. Yeah. Okay, so your hands are going to come down. I'm gonna switch sides real quick. Beautiful. So from here, I want you to find your long legs like you would during swan. You're pushing your pubic bone down into the top of this a little bit from your stomach muscles. Reach your head away from your feet. Lift just a little, right there. Beautiful. Now, can you feel like you're doing a plank? So pull your rib up and in. Good. Could you push through your hands and lift your upper body? And then as you bend your elbows, you let your chest come back down towards the mat maybe. Maybe you even start to relax yourself all the way down. So lay yourself down over the front of it. Beautiful. Could we move from there to start to push through the hands and reach through the legs, pushing your pubic bone into the, and coming all the way up? Think less neck, less about the head. So the head kind of is at the same angle as that. Yes, and then lay it all the way down. I love how I don't finish my sentences. We just want to think the back of your skull is roughly in alignment with those shoulder blades. Try 2 more right here. Pushing yourself up, finding the length, finding that rib connection, the armpit connection. Straighten those elbows a little more. Pull that rib up a little bit. Good, and then lay yourself all the way down. Now, if you want to from here, you could try this single arm, just getting yourself up.
Just kidding.
Yep. Some amount. Good. And come back down. Let's try for 3 on that side. If it helps, you can also put this hand so that the back of your hand is against your head, actually. Front of your head, sorry. Like if you were saluting somebody.
Oh.
Yep. So think palm down. Good. Now, as you push down with that right hand, you're picking up the hand. You're using this arm still. Good. Pick up the head a little more. Beautiful. Come back down. So we're going to do 1 more on this side. We're going for 3s today, it seems. Pull the rib up and in. There you go. Come back down. We're going to switch to the other side. So you find a comfortable place for that left hand. You're going to find your reach and press. Pull your head back a little. Pull this down. Yeah, and then back down. And remember, we're really pulling your guts up towards your spine as you're coming up because we got to pull that rib connection. Nice, and back down. Take a second if you need it before this last one. And we're going to use the breath. So you'll take that big ol' inhale as you help to push yourself up. And back down. How's that? Cool, so you're gonna bend your knees and kind of scoot yourself back with your hands so that you can come into kind of a child's pose on top of this. Nice. Yep, you can take your hands on top of it if you want. It just gives you a little space. You can even, yep. So now you just have a little bit of room to stretch through here. The hands aren't all the way down on the floor. Can you shrug your shoulders towards your ears and away from your ears? Yeah, just towards and away. And then start to bring yourself back off of this, and we're going to do 1 more thing with this sucker. All right, so a nice way to practice your planks on an unstable surface is to take this sucker apart and turn it upside down. So with these pieces out of the way, you're going to be able to put your hands kind of on top here on the underside of it. So come put your hands on top first. Good. Now let's have you bring your legs back so that you can walk into a plank. So you're going to put 1 foot behind you, you curl those toes down, good. And then you're going to join with the other one, good. Let's have you walk your toes in 2 inches so you get your shoulders over your wrists. Keep going, shoulders over wrists, a little bit more. Even more of a little bit, there we go. Okay, head pulls back, just a little. Pull these, beautiful. Now, can you push down into that left hand more so it's a little bit more level? Good. And you almost have to pull here a little bit. You still breathing? Fairly good. We're going for the knees coming in. It's an alternating knee in. Yep, like a mountain climber. 5, 4. Keep breathing. Use those exhales. They help you connect into your abdominals. Good. Good. Pulling those armpits, finding a little bend in your elbow if you have to. Good. And when you finish the 5th one on each side, you just bring those knees down. Take a little stretch, whatever it needs to be. When you're ready, we're going to find that setup again. So you want your hands underneath your shoulders, and you want to be able to step your feet back behind you. Good. Now, maybe you pull this up a little, just a little, and you find a little more of this back of the armpit. Could you find a little more armpit on this side? Yeah, I know. You are really hurting today. I'm so sorry. Could we lift one heel 2 inches and put it back down? Hips try to stay square. Same thing on the other side. Good. Straight leg lifts. It's a glute feeling. It's a back of the leg feeling. 3 and 3, 4. Pull those armpits. 5, 5. Calm down. Hot diggity. Now, you can do the next part in a full plank, and you can also do any of this in a kneeling plank. It's just a little weird. Let's try a kneeling plank with a little bit of a tricep push-up.
Okay.
So maybe we turn it the other direction, just for kicks. This way. So now we've just switched which hand is on the bigger side. So let's actually scoot this out away from you a tiny bit so that you can come into a kneeling plank. So your shoulders, yep. So you have to extend the hips by using your pubic bone, pushing forward from that core. Beautiful. Could we pull those armpits down? Can we push this hand down a little more? Oh, nice. And then could you take any amount of a push up here? Any amount? Good. You don't have, so head doesn't have to go as far. Just think from, yep, and back up. 2. Last one. Good. Come back, find a little stretch. Nice. Okay. The very last thing I want to cover is that, of course, when you are finished, the last thing I want to mention is, of course, when you're finished, you can always turn this around, add a nice little grippy or 2 so it doesn't go anywhere. Bottom comes back against this edge, and you'll just lay back against it. Now, this is much less intense than laying over it the other way. This is the way I've had you lay about 1 billion times to just help you open your chest. So you can always turn your palms towards the ceiling a little bit. Be nice to those elbows. And if you're someone who's like extra mobile, like our friend here, sometimes you've got to add a little padding so that they don't end up, you know, totally hyperextending an elbow and a shoulder. Beautiful. And then take your hands out in front of you. Big inhale. Exhale, pick up the head and roll yourself up to seated. Good. Roll yourself back down. Take your hands back and just get a little stretch. And that seems like about enough of that for today.